grew up taking, I grew up stealing, taking from people. And like, when my grandma died, started catching my attention at a younger age. See, I got booked for robbery at age 14.
Rapper NBA YoungBoy was arrested this week at his Mill Creek home in what the Cache County Sheriff's Office is calling an ongoing investigation into criminal conduct. He was booked into the Cache County Jail yesterday on suspicion of unlawful activity, including identity fraud, forgery, possession of controlled substances, and possession of a dangerous weapon by a restricted person.
You see this here? I caught that. He's up. Your mama's, your dad is, everybody you roll with it.
YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
He talking crazy on this thing.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
Cap.
Ever since NBA YoungBoy burst onto the music scene, he's had a loyal fan base that sticks by him no matter what. His music connects with people in a big way. But on the flip side, it seems like the guy just can't stay out of jail. Seriously, it's almost like clockwork. Every year you can expect to hear about YoungBoy getting locked up again. The dude has so much potential, but his constant run-ins with the law are really messing with his career. Lately it's been getting even worse. Fans went so far as to crash a Zoom court hearing, shouting at the judge to free YoungBoy.
Preliminary. Go free Wapay, man. Free Wapay.
Everyone needs to stay muted. Okay.
Free Wapay.
It all started back in 2020 when he got caught up in some serious trouble during a music video shoot in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge police reportedly found him with a 9mm handgun and a .45 caliber Glock. The problem? He wasn't supposed to have any firearms because of a 2016 incident where he was involved in a shootout. That shootout led to him being charged as a felon, and as a result, he was barred from owning any guns. Fast forward to 2020, and he gets caught with not one, but 2 guns at that video shoot, and it wasn't just him. Police rounded up about a dozen others during that bust after neighbors reported a bunch of young guys waving guns around on Choctaw Drive in Baton Rouge.
According to BRPD, this all started on Monday afternoon when BRPD, along with FBI agents, received a tip about a group of people waving around guns. One of those individuals, Kentrell Galden, better known as rapper NBA YoungBoy.
Since then, YoungBoy's been on house arrest in Utah, chilling up in a multi-million-dollar mansion on the side of a mountain. For most people, that would have been a wake-up call. Just lay low, serve your time, and avoid any more trouble. And for a while, it seemed like he was doing just that. He was still dropping music and videos, keeping his career going despite being confined to his house. But remember, this house arrest was while his gun case was still pending, meaning there wasn't a final verdict yet. He was waiting on trial. Then, in April of this year, things took a turn for the worse. YoungBoy got caught up in another mess. This time, a large-scale prescription drug fraud ring that targeted several pharmacies across Utah. Because he was already on house arrest when he got wrapped up in this new case, he's been pretty much locked up ever since. He was hit with 63 charges initially, which later got reduced to 48, but still, that's a ton of charges, and he's facing serious time.
Rapper NBA YoungBoy was arrested this week at his Mill Creek home in what the Cache County Sheriff's Office is calling an ongoing investigation into criminal conduct. He was booked into the Cache County Jail yesterday on suspicion of unlawful activity, including identity fraud, forgery, possession of controlled substances, and possession of a dangerous weapon by a restricted person.
But that's not even the end of it. While all this was going on, his gun case from 2020 was still pending. Fans have been anxiously waiting to see how that's going to play out, and now it looks like we finally have an answer. News just broke that YoungBoy plans to plead guilty in the federal gun case. He's also getting the case transferred from Baton Rouge to Utah, where he's been living. His lawyer, Drew Finley, filed the paperwork to make the transfer happen, likely for convenience since Utah is where YoungBoy's been under house arrest. But here's the catch. He has to go through with the guilty plea to keep the case in Utah. If he doesn't, the case gets sent back to Louisiana. It's wild, because it seems like the only way they'll make things more convenient for him is if he pleads guilty. If he does, he's looking at up to 10 years in prison. Now, he probably won't serve the full 10 years, maybe 7 or even less if he gets out early. But he's still looking at around 5 years behind bars on average. And that's just for the gun case. Who knows what's going to happen with the prescription fraud case? That's a whole separate issue. And it's not looking good for YoungBoy right now. But let's not forget, getting arrested isn't the only thing YoungBoy's known for. He's also got a reputation for beefing with a ton of people in the industry. It seems like he's had issues with almost everyone at some point, but what really stands out is how a lot of the people he beefs with end up dead. Now, no one's ever been able to link these deaths directly to YoungBoy, but the streets talk, and rumors have been flying. So let's dig a little deeper into this side of his story. When YoungBoy started gaining momentum as a rapper in Baton Rouge, it was only natural that he'd draw some opposition. After breaking ties with his former street crew turned label, TBG, Top Boy Gorilla, he quickly found himself at odds with their leading artists, Money and Fredo Bang. But those two wouldn't be the only enemies YoungBoy would make in the city. In November 2015, YoungBoy dropped a track called Homicide, a collab with another Baton Rouge rapper named Scotty Cain. They both featured on the song and the music video, and it seemed like they hit it off, even becoming friends for a while. But as is often the case in the rap game, things went south. Rumors began circulating that Cain might have felt some type of way about YoungBoy's lyrics in his song So Long, where he rapped about blowing up in his city and getting views without the need for a song with Scotty Cain. Things escalated when a clip surfaced on IG Live, showing YoungBoy rapping lyrics about someone switching up on him. The tension between them was no longer just a rumor when Scotty Cain allegedly caught YoungBoy in a studio and slapped him. Cain later jumped on social media to air out his grievances, claiming that YoungBoy had begged him for a verse and then asked him for money to buy shoes. He also accused YoungBoy of trying to cozy up to Cain's crew after falling out with TBG. Cain even went so far as to challenge YoungBoy to send a hit if he really had money, threatening him with some deadly intentions.
Man, your rolled my cousin. Y'all came to the studio. He begged me to do the first verse. I did not want to do it. I thought about it. I'm like, well, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a chance. I did the verse. Your asked me to put some on your shoes. You was over there riding TBG. They wanted to raw your ass out. Now your ass come trying to rap mafia music. Now you get on and do all this. You got bread, kill.
YoungBoy, never one to back down, fired back by rapping more lyrics from his song Gravity, making it clear he had his own goons ready to shoot. He seemed to address the studio incident in his track Who You Supposed to Be, where he admitted to pulling up to an address after receiving it and being confronted by 3 people who pulled guns on him. He even admitted to crying during the confrontation but mocked them for not pulling the trigger. The track ends with YoungBoy seemingly threatening to K-word Scotty Cain.
They wasn't made for it. Lord, please don't mistake me, play gon' die, cause I ain't going for it. In this life that I'm living, I pray I make it through the night. As I ride through my city, I'm thinking, looking at the light.
Things got even more intense when Pablo El Chapo, who supposedly intervened in that studio incident, posted a clip on social media suggesting that he had saved YoungBoy's life and confirming that YoungBoy had indeed cried when the guns came out. Scotty Cain, not one to let things slide, quickly dropped a diss track aimed at YoungBoy called NBA Smoke, produced by TBG's go-to producer Austin on the track. In the diss, Cain returned the death threats and even took a jab at YoungBoy, saying that someone murdered his cousin Bullzilla, and he didn't do anything about it. The timing was almost eerie because just a month after the track dropped, YoungBoy would be arrested and charged with double attempted murder, allegedly trying to do something about Bullzilla's death. While YoungBoy was locked up for the attempted murder charges, Scotty Cain seemed to distance himself from the beef. He posted a video on Instagram and later admitted in an interview with Gutter TV that he regretted the death threats he'd made against YoungBoy. But once YoungBoy got out of jail, the tension between them reignited. Scotty Cain posted a clip on social media flaunting a stack of cash and taunting YoungBoy, telling him to get his money up. But something much darker was brewing in the background. A prominent TBG producer, Austin on the track, who had made beats for YoungBoy's biggest rivals like Money and Scotty Cain, and even produced the beat for the NBA Smoke diss track, would soon become a victim of a brutal crime. On August 10, 2017, at around 7 p.m., Austin was sitting in a car with another person outside the Ardenwood Village apartment complex on North Ardenwood Drive. Out of nowhere, someone rolled up and sprayed the car with bullets, killing Austin on the spot. The suspected shooter fled the scene in a car, crashed it, and then escaped on foot. The scene was gruesome, with investigators combing through the bullet-riddled car. In a chilling move, they towed the entire car away with Austin's body still inside, treating the whole vehicle as a crime scene so they could process all the DNA evidence in a controlled environment. The police ultimately chalked the murder up to a suspected robbery, claiming that Austin and his cousin had gone to an address to sell a cell phone they'd advertised online. The news described the whole situation as a setup, but the case was never solved.
A man is shot and killed while trying to sell a phone on North Ardenwood Drive last night.
2 men shot after police say they were lured to the Ardenwood Village apartments in hopes of selling a cell phone to someone they met online.
And just to be clear, there's no evidence directly linking YoungBoy or his crew to this murder. But it's yet another tragic case where someone closely tied to the Baton Rouge rap scene, especially those who've been involved in dissing YoungBoy, ended up losing their life in a brutal gangland-style killing. The police are still clueless as to who was behind it. The most intense beef that YoungBoy found himself tangled in during his come-up was with G Money. G Money, real name Garrett Burton, wasn't just any random rapper throwing shots. He was a former friend and one of the top artists under YoungBoy's old label, TBG, Top Boy Gorilla. This whole drama really started heating up after Scotty Cain dropped his fiery YoungBoy diss track, NBA Smoke, just days after YoungBoy's cousin Boozilla was murdered. This wasn't just a petty squabble. YoungBoy was so deep in it that he ended up in jail on attempted murder charges, all because he tried to avenge Boozilla's death. Meanwhile, G Money was busy building alliances with YoungBoy's enemies and finding new ways to diss him. In January 2017, G Money teamed up with Pablo El Chapo, who had been one of the guys present in the studio when Scotty Cain allegedly pulled a gun on YoungBoy and made him cry. Together, they cooked up another diss aimed straight at YoungBoy, titled WNBA Smoke, a track where they cleverly played on his NBA YoungBoy moniker by calling him WNBA YoungBoy. The track was brutal. G Money didn't hold back, rapping about how he'd send a blitz to wipe out YoungBoy and his crew for the disrespect and warning that he'd kill YoungBoy for messing with them. G Money wasn't stopping there. He also popped up on Scotty Cain's track Enk on Ride, where he threw even more shade at YoungBoy, rapping about how someone was dissing him. But he couldn't do anything about it because they kept hiding behind their Instagram posts. It was clear that G Money was feeling untouchable, but then YoungBoy got out of jail, and it was clear he wasn't about to let all of this slide. He dropped his AI YoungBoy mixtape, and it was packed with shots fired at G Money. On the track Ride on Him, YoungBoy made it crystal clear that he wasn't squashing this beef anytime soon. He rapped about talking to the devil and said that the only way the beef would end was if G Money got shot. YoungBoy was talking reckless, saying he was dropping a bag on G Money and his crew and that they were going to ride on him and smash everything in sight. This wasn't just rap. It sounded like YoungBoy was making a real plan to take G Money out, letting everyone know that he was willing to do whatever it took to get his revenge. But G Money wasn't one to back down either. Instead of being scared off by YoungBoy's threats, he decided to ramp up the disrespect to a whole new level. On August 15, 2017, G Money did an interview where he went all out, talking extremely reckless about YoungBoy. He said that they used to be cool, but that YoungBoy started sneak dissing him as soon as he started blowing up. And just to twist the knife a little deeper, G Money threw some serious shade by claiming that he'd slept with YoungBoy's sister. That was a major diss, and it was clear that G Money wasn't just playing around.
Yeah, that little like my little partner, he used to be like my little brother. He stayed with me and everything. Everything was still all good until he started, you know what I'm saying, like doing his own thing, getting him a little buzz, getting a little money. He got a name and got from down here. He mad about his sister too though.
About his sister?
Yeah, I had a long time ago.
Then, just a few weeks later, on September 10th, 2017, G Money was back on Instagram doing what he did best, talking his talk. He was at his usual recording studio, working on new music, and it seemed like he was even recording a new YoungBoy diss track. But not long after that, around 1:30 a.m., G Money was found shot in front of that same recording studio. It was a shocking end to a beef that had gotten way too real.
Police are after all of my people, and even in his recent single Let's Do It, where he rapped that his crew will creep up on their ops and lay their heads on a pillow, with YoungBoy even doing an impression of a dying G Money.
And if all that wasn't enough, there's another story out there that's been heavily debated among YoungBoy's fans. It all revolves around an unreleased YoungBoy track called Money Man. This song has been floating around YouTube, Reddit, and SoundCloud for years, and while it's not listed on any official lyric sites, the track includes some wild lyrics that have gone viral on Reddit more than once. In the song, YoungBoy seems to suggest that he K-worded a rival gang member's girlfriend in retaliation for someone shooting up his grandmother's house. This all ties back to a beef YoungBoy had with another Baton Rouge street crew called TMH, or Too Many Hitters. According to the story, someone from TMH shot up YoungBoy's grandmother's house, but TMH32 later denied this in the lyrics of his song Fan. But YoungBoy's Money Man track suggests that instead of letting it slide, he targeted someone from TMH named Hammer in a shooting, which ended up killing Hammer's girlfriend instead. Now, while these are just lyrics from an unreleased freestyle, YoungBoy's fans have gone full detective mode, trying to piece together what really happened. One popular theory on Reddit claims that the victim was a 19-year-old woman named Anisha Barnes. The news reported that she was a passenger in a car that got hit during a shooting that was targeting the driver.
Barnes died of a gunshot wound to the stomach after police say a suspect traveling in a red Chevy Trailblazer fired into the car she was a passenger in.
But even though fans have been quick to connect the dots and point fingers at YoungBoy, the truth is that two completely unrelated people were eventually arrested for that shooting. According to the police, the whole thing stemmed from an argument, and the shooter was actually aiming for the driver of the car, not Anisha Barnes. Another casualty in YoungBoy's escalating beef was Boulevard Quick, who didn't hold back when it came to dissing YoungBoy. Quick went as far as to claim he was shooting at people from car windows, and he even dropped the track And One, which featured a Chucky doll, a symbol of disrespect that had become a recurring theme in these beefs. In And One, Quick made it clear that he was ready to die for G-Money, taunting YoungBoy by telling him to dig up his dead friend and mocking him for going to jail on attempted murder charges without even managing to shoot anyone. Fast forward to August 2nd, 2018, and Boulevard Quick released a bold music video for his track Never Lack It. This song was a direct challenge to his enemies, where he bragged about always being armed and dared anyone who had put a price on his head to come and get him. Quick wrapped up the track with a taunting rant, claiming that despite the threats and bounties, he was still alive and breathing.
You dropped the bag while I'm still breathing. I got breath in my body. Fake boy.
But things escalated when a preview of an upcoming YoungBoy song surfaced, where YoungBoy dissed G-Money and ominously threatened to shoot someone like the Last Gorilla, a clear reference to G-Money's crew Top Boy Gorillas, TBG. Quick didn't take this lightly. After fans tagged him in the preview, he lashed out, calling everyone in YoungBoy's life, his mother and father included, ho.
See this here? I cut that up. Your mama's, your dad's.
The tension really hit a boiling point when YoungBoy's mother, Sharonda, jumped into the fray. She hopped on IG Live in October 2018, responding to death threats by casually mentioning she kept a big gun under her bed. At this point, the beef between YoungBoy and Boulevard Quick had crossed into dangerous personal territory, with even mothers getting involved. Unfortunately for Boulevard Quick, his boldness would soon have fatal consequences. On November 26, 2018, around 12:30 a.m., police responded to reports of gunfire at Lakeside Villa Apartments in the 2400 block of Weldwood, where Quick lived. There, they found Quick's lifeless body. He'd been shot dead and left at the scene. As for where the beef between YoungBoy and King Von's crew started, that's a bit murky, but it likely had something to do with Von's close ties to Chicago rapper Lil Durk. Back in 2017, Lil Durk and YoungBoy even collaborated on a track called My Side. At one point, Durk tried to sign YoungBoy to his OTF label, as revealed in the intro to YoungBoy's song GG on AI YoungBoy, where YoungBoy raps, "Tell OTF I do not sign, NBA that be my gang." But by then, YoungBoy had already signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Atlantic Records, a move that made much more sense for his career. In hindsight, signing with Lil Durk back in 2017 would have been a bad move for YoungBoy. At the time, Durk was respected on the Chicago streets, but his music career wasn't exactly on fire. His biggest accomplishment was his 2015 album Remember My Name, which peaked at #14 on the Billboard Albums chart. By the end of 2017, the YoungBoy had already surpassed Durk's chart success, with 3 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 and 3 projects on the Billboard 200. In many ways, YoungBoy dodged a bullet by not signing with Durk, as he quickly surpassed him in nearly every aspect. Durk's career was pretty stagnant until King Von got out of jail and injected new life into it. Despite all this, they stayed cool, even when Quando Rondo, who was signed to Lil Durk, switched labels to join YoungBoy's camp. However, things took a turn somewhere in 2020, and it had everything to do with King Von. Despite playing nice with Quando backstage in March 2019, a month earlier, Vaughn was dissing YoungBoy on IG Live in front of a fan. He didn't stop there though. A month later in March, Vaughn took to social media to call out YoungBoy's music, saying it was full of lies and that YoungBoy wasn't a real gangster like he claimed to be. This is interesting because it suggests that Vaughn's issue with YoungBoy was rooted in the belief that he wasn't deserving of his street reputation.
YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
He talking crazy on this thing.
Oh yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On his cap.
We've already touched on YoungBoy's numerous lyrics over the years, where he implies that he's responsible for over 7 murders. But this so-called body count has been hotly debated, with many believing that when YoungBoy claims he has bodies, he's really referring to the people around him who've died, or at most that he's responsible for these killings by paying hitmen or simply because people get killed when they beef with him. The idea that YoungBoy has 7 or more bodies is shrouded in mystery and misdirection. But when it comes to King Von, the situation was entirely different. Von was open about his past, rapping repeatedly that he had 7 bodies. In fact, in a video titled King Von Rap's First Serial Killer, you can match Von's lyrics and tweets with real murders in Chicago, along with his arrest records, to build a compelling case that Von did indeed personally murder at least 7 people. Von was a killer, and he wanted everyone in the rap industry to know it. He was likely frustrated by the idea that someone younger, richer, and more successful could dominate the gangster rap game without actually committing murder firsthand. Von seemed to decide that the fastest way to the top of the rap game was to punk YoungBoy and expose him as a fake killer, proving to the world that unlike YoungBoy, he was the real deal when it came to committing murder. In Von's eyes, this made him more deserving of the top spot in the rap game than YoungBoy. But then, just after midnight on November 5th, 2020, Von was shot multiple times after a fight with Quando Rondo. So the final question remains, is YoungBoy truly the gravedigger responsible for all these bodies, or is he simply a fake gangster, exaggerating his street credentials to craft compelling music that resonates with the modern-day gangster rap audience? Right now, it seems the truth lies somewhere in between. If YoungBoy really is the murder man behind all these crimes, it's only a matter of time before the feds piece it together and lock him up for good. But as it stands, YoungBoy might already be looking at a long stretch behind bars.